If you want some, come get some.
This is such good
I am the visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am Seth.
Give it crying. I can't give the belt to Leslie, but I can give it to my mama. I can give it to my mommy.
Acknowledge me.
Lately, he just...
All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Rasslin with Ryan. It is a Wednesday, recording on a Wednesday.
Yeah, because some big news happened this morning, and Mike wanted a podcast about it.
Damn right I did.
So,
Go ahead,
but we'll
Ryan.
get to that in a little bit. Let's recap SummerSlam.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone that tuned into our live streams.
Yeah, it was something new. It's definitely something I'd like to do again in the future.
Me too.
You know,
Actually, I figured out because
if possible.
remember on Sunday, I couldn't figure out the live stream on Sunday for some reason. Somehow the camera access got blocked on my computer, so I had to go into my settings and then yeah. It's okay.
That makes sense. Yeah, sometimes it's technology it automatically blocks it for some reason sometimes, because I've had that too.
Yeah. And so it kind of threw me into a loop. So we're only able to live stream on Instagram on Sunday.
But it worked out.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone that tuned in to our Instagram and YouTube live streams, and what a weekend it was.
Yep, the first ever 2-night SummerSlam. And I definitely would say, at least in my opinion, I definitely think night 2 blew night 1 out of the water.
Yes, it did. Very similar with how WrestleMania went, I think.
Yeah. It was, night 1 was kind of okay aside from the main event. And then night 2 was good except the main event. And so, but in this case, it's no, you actually had 2 solid main events. You had CM Punk versus Gunther, and that was a very old, slow, but that was an old school wrestling match. That was a technical wrestling match, at its finest.
It was,
and it's not easy to pull that off either.
Right.
So but it works when you have a guy talented as CM Punk and a guy talented as Gunther. You put them in the ring together and they'll make magic.
Yeah, very old school storytelling match. You had the big brute in Gunther that pretty much laid the beat down on CM Punk pretty much 15 to 20 minutes into the match, and it was really the story of, how much could CM Punk take in the match and him just keep getting back up and kicking out. And then they had the spot where Gunther got busted open, which was a tremendous spot, kind of a callback to WrestleMania 2 years ago when CM Punk tripped up Drew McIntyre on top of the table.
Yeah.
Lost him his world title.
That was a pretty good, because we don't like when there's an overabundance use of blood, but this was a situation where it elevated the story. It elevated the entire match. Using blood, it's just oh my God. You see, it's getting so brutal to points how are you going to stop Gunther? Oh my gosh, he's bleeding now. He's busted open.
Right.
So you got to give props to, Triple H and creative for using blood sparingly, because I feel that's when it's, at best, when you use blood sparingly and not over in AEW where it's an every week thing,
Yeah, exactly. And especially because WWE, like you said, they sparingly use it and they don't go above and beyond. How in AEW they use forks and
and they do it on screen and they make it
so
obvious. Where in WWE they make it more nonchalant, and then when you see it, you're oh my God, you're truly in shock. You're oh my God, that was brutal.
Right.
So I like how it's not overdone. It's just to a point where it's depending on the match. For example, when we had the Hell in a Cell match between Punk and Gunther, that was a great use of blood.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, great use of blood, great use of, the visual of it, right? That's why they call it getting color in wrestling, because it's the visual, the crimson mask. You see Gunther pop up from underneath the table, and it's shocking.
He had a lot of blood coming out, a lot.
Exactly. And so the story after that, after Gunther brutalized CM Punk the first 20 minutes of the match, when Gunther popped back up with the face full of blood, he didn't know what to do. It kind of shocked him. That's
he
where
was freaking out. He was panicking. He couldn't see, and then that's when Punk started taking over.
Yep. Exactly.
But that's when the momentum really shifted, and then we saw it back. We saw a nice back and forth towards the end, and we saw CM Punk deliver not one but two go to sleeps, and for the first time in 12 years, CM Punk was a world champion in WWE.
Right. Exactly.
Then you fast forward 5 minutes later, and
Yep.
you get the ruse of the century.
Yeah. 2.0.
Freaking Rollins comes out. It looks like, oh, he's just playing the mind games of like, hey, I still have the briefcase, so just beware, enjoy it while you can. And then he stops before he gets to the back, throws the crutches away, takes off his brace, runs to the ring, takes out Punk, cashes in, curb stomp, and Seth Rollins won the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy to think that two of the best cash-ins of all time came from the same guy.
I mean, look, you could definitely say him and Edge are probably the king of the cash-in.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because when Edge did it, it was completely unexpected,
Yeah.
you know. And like,
Exactly.
I mean, another good one, Dolph Ziggler. He had that was a really
That
good
was a
Money in
great
the Bank
cash-in.
cash in. That one was probably the best use of a cash in on Raw as opposed to a pay-per-view.
Exactly. But yeah, Seth Rollins coming out with the crutches, bamboozling us all, throwing it
And
down in fashion.
and the pop that he got when not only when his music hit, but then when he threw the crutches, the crowd was going crazy for it.
Exactly. Yeah. And
So
so
people
great
can
use of
say what
that.
they want about Seth, but there's no denying the fans loved him and the fans loved that moment. I love that moment. I know you guys weren't fond of it, but I loved it because you know me, I'm a Seth guy. So
Yeah, exactly. And so, he did a great job. I would say this. People kind of knew the injury was a little phony. Like, you didn't really have to be in the know to kind of
yeah,
know the injury was phony,
yeah,
but it
but
still
but
played off to a point where it was like you made you question, like, is it not?
yeah, it was one of the rare times where they're crossing the boundary of is it real or is it part of a story?
Hmm.
And inevitably, it ended up being part of a story. But it was played off so well it made you think like, oh my, is he really hurt? Like, is this gonna alter like long term plans? Like, what's gonna happen?
Right.
And then that when that happened, it's just like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I know a lot of people expected it, but you can't deny that as like it was still a shocking moment, to actually see like them pulling it off. I know you made a good point. You're like, oh, he should have done it where he came in like the wheelchair,
Yeah. Like
like
Kevin
Kevin Nash did
Nash.
back in the day.
Yeah, dude, Kevin Nash being wheeled out with the blanket covering his leg in a cast. Should just came out. Paul Heyman. They should have had Paul Heyman just wheeling him down the ramp.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then Seth just throwing off the blanket, and
that
that
would
was
that
a
would have
little.
been cool. But I still think the way it was done, I think they executed it really well.
Yeah, I think so
I think
too.
the execution of it was well done, and so
Hmm. Yeah, dude. Oh, somebody behind you.
no,
You just watching you're watching your box.
yes,
Anyways, then we go to the main event of night two for SummerSlam.
and what a main event it was. That is the match we should have had at WrestleMania.
It really
So
should have been.
so you got to give props to both men, but especially Cena at his age, going 35 plus minutes in
Yeah,
a street fight.
yeah.
And like we saw John Cena at his best. We saw glimpses of the old John Cena, which I loved. I was eating it up. You
We
know,
saw John Cena do moves we haven't seen him do in
we
10
saw
years.
him. I was like, oh look, we're getting 2015 John Cena out here with the sunset flip power bomb on the outside.
Yeah,
The AA like literally jumping from the table to the other table
yeah.
for the
What do they call it?
AA.
An atomic AA?
The avalanche. Well,
Oh,
the
avalanche.
avalanche is from
Yeah,
the top rope, but I
yeah.
feel like the announce table is just like, but you got to give props to both men. We saw, and for the first time ever, we actually heard Super Cena chants.
I know. That would have
I don't
been
think, at
unheard
least in
of.
all the years I've watched it, I don't think I've ever heard Super Cena
No,
chants.
that
Have
would have been
you?
unheard of 15 years ago. The
Yeah,
fans
people
chanting
people
Super
hate
Cena
people hated him because of
because he
that.
was Super Cena.
And now it's like, no, they're fully embracing it. They
Super
want Super
Cena.
Cena.
I think it's one of those things. It's nostalgic. It's one of like we did not expect John Cena to ever have a match like that against Cody. We were kind of expecting truth be told, we were expecting him to have a match maybe a little bit better than WrestleMania, but not like that. I mean,
But
in the Punk
I think
match,
this definitely exceeded anybody's expectations, at least on John Cena's end.
look at he had a decent match against Randy Orton, an even better match against CM Punk. But then again, people were still like, it's still not the same
And
old
people
John Cena.
and then get after this match, everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, this is his best. This is John Cena's best singles match since AJ Styles at the Rumble." And I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
that is.
This was John Cena's best one-on-one match since AJ Styles at the 2017 Royal Rumble.
And honestly, I can tell you this much. I think this was Cena's best effort. Like, I don't think Cena can do as like even better than that. Like, I think at his age, at this level, like him trying not to get hurt, like this is the best
Yeah.
you'll see out of
But
John
you,
Cena.
but you still got to give him props for attempting things that we wouldn't think he would do, even being a babyface again. He
Yeah,
attempted things we thought we wouldn't see him do, given his age. It's like, no, he really gave it his all. Like,
yeah,
so I give props to both Cody and Cena because, especially Cody, because he had said like, oh, I promise you our SummerSlam match will make up for our WrestleMania match, and it did. It really did.
it really did. In
The,
the end,
the
the right guy went over. Cody Rhodes, two-time undisputed.
And the one thing I will say, I know a lot of people are expecting a double turn, but the one thing I will say, I liked how there was no interferences,
Yeah,
there was no running, and it was just two of the very best going at it.
especially no Travis Scott.
Yeah, and no final boss, thank
Oh,
God.
that would have been amazing.
But I think you have to admit, I think it was great that we didn't have any interference at all. It was literally just
Right.
two guys at the top of their game going at it.
Exactly.
And I liked it because like when they did the face off, you could hear see Cena's mouth saying like, "All right, let's see what you got."
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
basically Cody Rhodes got Super Cena, like,
Yeah.
and it's rare to be Super Cena.
And look, you mentioned that the crowd in at MetLife Stadium was kind of mid. Like,
But
it
they
was
were they
quiet.
were eating this main event up.
They were eating it up. I mean,
I just
Super
saw
Cena.
a video on TikTok yesterday of if somebody was outside the stadium and you could hear the fans going, "You can't see me," when he's going for the five knuckle shuffle.
Yep. Yep. I saw that
I'm
too.
just like, damn, that is crazy. But like, I think the reason the crowd seemed kind of is because I feel like they were kind of out of it. Plus, some of the matches were like okay, some felt like too long. But when it came to the main event, the fans were eating it up. Like,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
Cody did get booed. Like in the beginning, Cody did get booed. Even during the match, he did get booed. But I'm not going to attest that to being like, oh, it's the crowd. It's like, no, it's not the crowd turning on Cody. It just they love Cena. It's his farewell
Look,
tour.
when
They're
when
not
Cena
going to root against John Cena.
when Cena came and made his entrance, first it started off as Dark John Cena.
The
Then
heel,
the lights
yeah,
came on, and it was the
the
same old. He's
colors.
talking to Stu. He's
The
running
pop,
down.
the pop that he already got a pop when his music hit, and when the colors came back, the pop was even louder.
Yep.
So it just shows you like although I loved Cena's heel run, I know not everybody was a fan of it. I liked it. I will admit, it feels so damn good to see the old classic babyface John Cena back. It
Exactly.
feels
And
it
one
feels
last
right.
time,
It feels right.
it did. And one
You
last
know,
time, one last visual with him
it,
with the
it,
title.
it gave us an opportunity to see one last, babyface Cena WWE Championship entrance,
Yep.
one last introduction as WWE champion, and I feel like it was very poetic because it's like, he's always been the guy, and every time he was the champ, he was the babyface.
Yep.
So it's like I'm glad they let him have at least one more WWE Championship entrance as the babyface.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even if this was it, I want him to win 18, obviously, but like if he probably won't. But like let's just say he doesn't win 18, I think this was the best way to like send him off.
Right.
Like as I think this was the best way to present Cena as champion one last time.
Right. And yeah, I think altogether they put on a really great match. I would give the match 4 out of 5, maybe 4.5 stars.
Yeah, this match was great, and I know I don't really like Dave Meltzer all that much, but even Dave Meltzer said, "Be like, no, this is one of the best main roster matches the WWE has had in a long time."
Exactly. And what? I mean, the thing that you look for in a main event match is it high stakes? Is it for something, right? Is it
Yeah,
for a title?
yeah,
Does it have stars?
and
And
and I
then
feel like I feel like this year the women have more like outshined
Yeah,
like and stuff. So this is my personal opinion. I think at Evolution, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky had the best women's match of the year, bar none.
right.
And then I think Cena and Cody just had the best men's match of the year
I would say
so
best.
far.
Yeah,
So far,
yeah. Best WWE main event match, I would say.
yes, yeah, I'd
Yeah,
say so far because we still got 4 months. But
exactly.
I would say so
So
far,
far.
John Cena and Cody Rhodes have given us the best men's main event, at least one
Exactly.
on one. I'm not counting because we've had some good like triple threats and stuff, but
Exactly.
I'm saying one on one main event matches.
Exactly. And then
I
you had
really think the stipulation helped out.
exactly. And then you had the shock of the night. After Cody won, Selena handed him the title,
You know,
uh,
pass the torch.
passed the torch per
You
se,
know,
and then Cody
it
left
was
the ring.
emotional for me. It was
Yeah,
emotional for me, because you know how much Cena means to me. But
yeah,
I can say, no matter what, I had the moment of seeing my GOAT win number 17 live in person at WrestleMania. I will forever have that moment.
right.
Doesn't
Exactly.
matter if he doesn't matter if he doesn't win an 18th world championship in the next 4 months. I
Exactly.
can forever say I saw my GOAT make history and win number 17.
Win number 17, and you were there live, and like if that's gonna be the highlight of his run, his farewell tour, then let it be that. If this is the pretty much the best match, then let it be that. And I think there's some good takeaways that you can take away from his retirement tour, and we still have a few months left. So,
Yep.
but the big moment of the night, the return of the beast, nobody expected
I
Brock
didn't.
Lesnar to come back. And I mean, nobody expected.
I didn't expect it. Did you expect it?
No, hell no. No, there was not a
You
peep.
thought it would possibly be The Rock.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, who
You
else could
even
it
you
be?
even said you're like if somebody comes out, you're like you said you would not be surprised if it was The Rock that came out.
Right. And then, I mean, look, nobody on their radar. I mean, people were still thinking Brock. I mean, there's no way he could come back, right? Like he's still caught up in this, even though he had been kind of dismissed from this trial. Um, it just didn't probably seem like it was.
It seemed
Yeah,
impossible. It seemed like,
exactly.
oh, that's it. We've seen the last of Brock Lesnar. If if we do see him again, it'll be years from now,
Yes,
like Hall
Hall
of
of
Fame
Fame.
induction when like all of
Exactly.
this is like put behind them. But
Yeah,
no,
I probably would have said there's probably a good chance that 2 years ago at SummerSlam was probably his last match.
I would have said that too,
Hmm.
because he put Cody over.
Yep.
And so, like, I even thought I was like, if that's the last Brock Lesnar match we see, I'm all for it because it was a pretty solid match they had.
Exactly. But we hear the guitar riff, dun dun dun
Which
dun. Dun.
I think you can say that Brock Lesnar's guitar riff is on par with Undertaker's gong and
Yeah,
CM Punk's static and Stone Cold's
glass break. Yep.
glass
It's
break.
just one of those iconic sounds you just hear and you know,
Yeah,
you know.
because you can even say the same thing with Cena's trumpets now. His trumpets are like
No,
an
you know. Like you can hear the
an
first.
iconic part now.
You play half a second of it, and you already know who it is.
Yeah, you don't have to like most Death Rebel songs. You don't have to wait until the name pops up. Be like, who's this?
Yeah, exactly. Like you already know. Um,
Yeah,
Lesnar
and
comes
that's
out.
what makes it great.
Exactly. The place goes crazy at MetLife
I
Stadium.
know. I think that might have been the loudest pop Brock has ever had in his career.
Oh my gosh, probably. I mean, you were there at
He's had
SummerSlam.
some loud ones, but I think this one was like
What do you think? Because you were there at SummerSlam 2021. What do you
his
think?
pop there was his pop there was pretty loud.
Yeah.
Like and I was there in person. His pop was loud. Like I could barely hear his music after. So that tells you it's already loud if you can't hear his music.
But do you
Um,
think this was louder?
I think I would say this one was louder just because this one is completely unexpected. Well, so is 2021. I don't think anybody in 2021 expected Brock Lesnar to just return out of nowhere.
Right. Exactly.
But like he was only gone for like a year and a half when he returned then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so look, Brock obviously shocked the world. There's a lot of controversy over Brock being back. I'll say this. We don't have to get into the entire complexity
Yeah.
of what happened with Brock, because everyone knows it's well documented. Him being in the Vince scandal,
Yeah.
the lawsuit against Janelle Grant, all of it. We don't have to get into that,
It's
but
it's
I will say this: Brock Lesnar being back, it not only made shock television, it's good for TV. It's viewership, it's business, it's the wrestling
and
business.
he plays a crucial role in John Cena's career. He's one of John Cena's
Yeah,
best rivals.
like I'm positive John Cena had a role in asking
He
for
had
Brock
a
Lesnar.
say in this.
Yeah, like I'm
I'm not gonna
positive.
say I'm not gonna say he for sure is like, no, I want Brock or I want to like he probably just at least suggested be like, if it's possible, it would be nice if Brock and I could go at it one more time.
Yeah, and see kind of see where
Ultimately,
it's
it's
at. Yeah,
TKO's decision, WWE's decision, and you got to look at it this way: if there were really serious issues against Brock, he wouldn't have been brought back. I guarantee you, TKO, WWE, like any legal parties, I'm pretty sure they looked into
well,
it,
look, yeah,
probably talked to people, and they were probably given the go ahead, like, yes, he's cleared, or he's at a point where
look,
no real concern.
there
He
there
can go back.
was serious issues. It comes to a point where it's like, okay, are these things actively going on?
Yeah.
If
See, and then
not,
people are like, oh, well, if Brock can come back, so can Vince. No,
no, that's not
Vince
true.
won't come back. It's
That's
different
not
with
true.
Vince. Vince actually acted upon these
Well,
things, and
Vince
there's
was the
evidence
perpetrator
to
in them.
back it up. Yes.
Yes,
There
exactly.
even in court, there is a lack of evidence against Brock. That's another thing too.
Right. And so look, Brock being back, it's good for TV. It's good for YouTube. It's if obviously people click on the videos. It's
Yeah,
good for business, right?
and
And so
it's the most socially viewed SummerSlam clip ever. And people acting is like we're not going to see the guy every week. We're not. We're gonna maybe see him one more time between now and Clash in Paris, and then probably Clash in Paris for a match against Cena. That's it.
yeah.
Like that's
It
it. And I even
yeah.
said, I don't know if it's true. I even said I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he has this feud and match with Cena, and then he's gone again for a little while.
Yeah, I could see him popping up, like having the match with Cena at Clash in Paris, which I was gonna ask, where do you think it goes?
Clash in Paris,
Clash in
yeah.
Paris. They probably have a match with him and Cena, and then he probably disappears for a little bit, pops up in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's what I think. And
Yeah.
people are saying it like, oh, it's like we're not gonna see him every week. Even when Brock was still around before all this stuff, we didn't see Brock every single week. He would come on the show to like maybe the show before the pay-per-view to like
Right.
hype it up. But
Yeah,
other than that, it's like he wasn't there every week.
exactly. Yeah, and so Brock Lesnar being back, there's a lot of guys he could work with down the pipeline. You think of matches with him and Gunther,
Braun
look,
Breaker,
Ron Breaker. Look,
Jacob Fatu.
yes. Oh God, like you imagine him and Jacob Fatu? You know what I mean? Like that is
You know
insane.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, there's a lot of potential, but we don't know how long Brock's going to be around.
right.
We don't know if this is like a one-time thing, be like he's coming back just to have a feud and match with Cena, and then he's gone. We don't know how long Brock's going to be back.
I think this opens up the door for at least him, through WrestleMania.
I wouldn't be
We'll see.
surprised if because SummerSlam is in Minnesota next year and he's from Minnesota, I would not be surprised if Brock has his last match at SummerSlam
Oh
next
yeah,
year.
yeah. I could see that happening too against a young guy like Jacob Fatu or Braun Breaker. That's
Yeah.
an opponent. But yeah, good. Brock Lesnar's back. Controversial, yes, but I think it's like you can have a guy like Brock Lesnar on TV. It's good for business. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's now talk about World Wrestling Greederation, WW Greed.
Yeah. It was just announced this morning that ESPN and WWE struck a deal. So starting next year, all WWE PLEs will be streaming on ESPN's service. So I mean, for me, it's like it's whatever. I'm a WWE fan, so it's like I'll either pay for it or I'll find another way to watch it. But I know you're not a fan of it, so just
Yeah,
go ahead,
I
go
look
off,
it.
tell
I'm
tell
gonna
the
look up.
people how you really feel.
Look, it just goes in line with everything that TKO has done since they've taken over. They've owned WWE. Look, the pricing out. We can talk about the pricing out their fans with the live events, They don't do actually. They don't even do what you call house shows anymore.
They do house shows, but not
Very
not
very
as frequently as
sparingly.
they used
But
to.
we'll
They
talk
do
about
like
let's talk about
the
WrestleMania.
holiday tour and like WrestleMania tour,
Right.
but
But let's talk about WrestleMania. Let's talk about how ungodly expensive WrestleMania was this year for even one person to go. It cost about $900 for my night two ticket. It cost about $400 for my night one ticket. It was in Las Vegas, which means it was exponentially expensive to stay there.
I mean,
Um,
you knew it was going to be a little more pricier because it's Las Vegas
but still, they're going back next year. Why?
because
Because
your final boss screwed up.
it's not the well. Look, he is the on the he's the what the chairman of the board there. So,
And then he's the one that announced they'd be in New Orleans. So yeah, so this is all the boss's
look,
fault.
it's
It's all his fault,
I
Mike.
love WWE. I have grown up. I've been a WWE wrestling fan since I was 4 or 5 years old watching it. I remember watching my first wrestling memory is SummerSlam in 1994, The Undertaker versus The Undertaker. I remember the pizza boxes that we ordered had was Domino's and it had SummerSlam on the pizza
That was
boxes.
damn.
That's like I was like 4 years old or 3 years old around that
That's
time.
hey, for being 4 years old and remembering that's pretty good.
Dude, I remember like we ordered Domino's and it had WWF SummerSlam on the pizza boxes.
Oh,
And
that's right. I remember there was a time where like the big like food chains would advertise like wrestling, whether
mhm.
it's like a show or a match. I remember that time.
But I love wrestling. I love WWE. I'll never stop being a WWE fan. I'll tell you this much. But it is so hard to now as an adult to look at what they're doing and be supportive of it because they have priced out their fans so ridiculously much where it's hard for one individual to buy a ticket. We're talking about going to Survivor Series, and it's like, geez, like, now I
I'm
have to.
already going. I already got my
You already
ticket.
got your ticket, but like, I have to spend like probably $300 on that ticket. You know what I mean? Like, you already spent probably $300 on
No,
yours.
I spent 206.
Okay, well, 200. All right, that's
Which I know it seems a little high, but if you look at it, it's not that bad.
it's not too bad compared to WrestleMania, but still, they're pricing out their fans. Now we're talking about so 10, yeah, 11 years ago, Vince McMahon created the WWE Network, right? So WWE wrestling was on the pay-per-view model. So you used to have to order the pay-per-views on the phone. You could order it online.
Online through
You
your
could
cable provider. Yeah.
you could but you had to pay about $50, $40. So back in the 90s, it was like $20, $30 for a WrestleMania. It got to a point in about 2010, 2011, 12 that they were charging $60. And I remember, was it WrestleMania 2013, 29? I think
29, Rock Cena.
Roxina 2, it was $70 for for WrestleMania. And I was like, holy Jesus. Like at the time I wasn't working, so my brother had to pay for it. And I was just like, wow, like that is crazy expensive. And so look, I remember there was a meme of like Joey and Chandler from Friends, and they're like, it said at the bottom, $70 for WrestleMania. Is Undertaker and Triple H wrestling in my living room? Uh yeah, but they went to the model network, and that was a godsend for wrestling fans because all you had to pay was
9.99.
9.99 for the network. And that was a godsend
And you
because
get all the past pay-per-views, all the
yes,
live ones, Raw, SmackDown, you get everything.
you get everything. And so you went from having to pay an ungodly amount of money, maybe not an ungodly amount, but you still had to pay for all the pay-per-views. And then they're basically free, and you had all this, archival content to back up with it. And so that you're like, man, this is a steal right here. I get the network, I get the pay-per-views almost for free, 9.99. And I think at some point they were advertising the network for free if you were a new subscriber.
Yeah, if you're a new subscriber, I think they said like your first month or two
Yeah.
is free.
And so it was great for wrestling fans. We had, all this content we could look back on and all these pay-per-views we could watch for free. It was beautiful. And then, obviously the network went away and they went to Peacock, and Peacock's a piece of crap.
But
In terms
in terms of the price is
prices, it's still the
still
same
reasonable.
basically.
It's still reasonable.
Yeah,
So
still
even
reasonable.
if Peacock is a bit of a downgrade from the network, you can't argue that it's still a a good price.
Exactly. And so now we're going into this era where TKO is, obviously owners of the WWE, and TKO is, also owns the UFC. UFC has been under the ESPN model where you have to pay a subscription price. I think it's about $30 a month for the subscription price, and then you have to pay a fee on top of that for the premium live events, right? And so now it's expensive to order pay-per-views, UFC pay-per-views. I haven't done it in many, 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 many years because of that. And so a lot of people go to Buffalo Wild Wings, they go to bars to check out these events because it's just too dang expensive to pay on your own. And so now TKO owning WWE, it was just a matter of time that they were going to follow suit. Once that Peacock deal ran out, it was done. They were not going to renew it. They were going to upcharge the hell out of these premium live events.
I just thought that I thought everything was going to go to Netflix
I
starting
thought so
next year.
too. That was the word on the street, but not, not, no, no, no,
Nah, nah.
nah. No, if it was for free, it's not for free, but like, I should stop saying the word free because nothing is free. But if it was at a price where you just paid for the subscription and then you got the content on top of that, that's beautiful. But what's really pressing out the fans is one, the subscription price, and then two, having to pay the extra fee, whatever the amount of money is for the live event now. So it's going to be pricing out fans more, and it's just a matter of how much more. Like TKO, I think of TKO as the
Oh,
Patrick, like not the Pat, the Mr. Krabs of wrestling. Like how Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob was
it's
my
always about
money.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, me first dollar.
Yeah.
Like
One thing I will say, it looks like, at least from what I've read and researched so far, this ESPN deal, it looks like it's $29.99, and you get the PLEs for 29. So it looks like there is an additional fee.
there isn't.
No, it says it's $29.99 a month.
We'll have to see about that because you have to pay an additional fee for the UFC events. So I don't know. I think
That might just be a UFC thing though.
might be, but it's still the same umbrella now. So it's look it. Either way, the prices are going up. And if you
It's
really
still
want to
cheap.
watch,
It is still. Like I said, I don't disagree with what you're saying. It's still cheaper than cable.
you're right about that. Look it, cable is going away and it's going away fast. Everything is streaming now, right?
Everything is being streamed now.
Even
Even most of these movies are getting simultaneous
even
releases
yeah,
now.
even I have Spectrum. I don't use a box. I just use the app. And so everything is streaming now, and but it's so hard when you have to pay for a Netflix, you have to pay for a Peacock, you have to pay for a Hulu, you have to pay for, like
But
it's just
well, I mean,
ridiculous.
you have bundles.
You do have bundles, but
I'm
hard.
paying for the ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and and Hulu bundle, and that's only like $29.99 a month, and I get all three of those.
Right. Yeah. Nonetheless, it's hard for fans to keep up with these things, and it's just TKO is only going to find more ways to take money out of their fans' pockets. Like next
And
year is
the
probably
one
gonna
thing is, regardless of all the fans that complain, regardless, they're still gonna pay for it. They know they will still pay for it.
That's true. That's
They
very
can complain all they want. They're still gonna pay for it.
that. I mean, look, you're not wrong about that. You're
And
absolutely spot on.
I'm not calling you out or myself. I'm
No,
just saying,
you're
based off
right.
the past,
You're
fans
right.
are still gonna pay for it.
That's economy in itself. Look, if you can sell something, if I could sell you this podcast for an ungodly amount of money, and there was a demand for that, well, why would I not do that, right?
Yeah.
So it's just goes in line with there. Is it immoral? Maybe. Does it hurt the bottom, the bottom dollar for the fans? Sure.
But again, we it's too early to tell until it happens.
I just don't like this narrative Like I get why they're making their money, and they have all the right to make their money, and they will make their money. I just don't like this narrative that it's beneficial for the fans because it's not. It's 100% not
But
beneficial for
but
the
but
fans.
you gotta look at it this way too. You're not just getting like the PLEs, you're getting whatever else this service, provides.
Sure, but I mean, wrestling fans don't care about the NBA. Wrestling fans don't care about UFC. Some of them don't. Like most wrestling fans do not care about UFC.
We care
Most,
about the
oh
NBA.
yes, we care, but like I care about the Lakers. I watch the NBA. I have a whole podcast.
Yeah.
But
We
like
care
most
we care about
wrestling
like the
fans,
NFL, like the Rams and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
most
But
wrestling
like you
fans
said, most
do
wrestling
not
fans
care.
only care about wrestling. They
They
only
only
want
care about one
wrestling.
thing, and that's WWE. Right? That's why the
But again,
network is so great.
all I'm saying is, regardless if people pay for this or not, there are alternative ways to watch it without paying. That's all I'm going to say. There are alternative
Yeah,
ways
you
to
could get
watch it.
a super box or whatever,
You get a
but
box, or there's wrestling websites that
yeah,
stream
and
them.
get a virus on your computer.
No, they're safe. I've done it and I'm fine.
I've watched a lot of PORN on those. I'm joking. Anyways, we have 2 minutes left. Wow. Any last words, Ryan?
I mean, I'll just say again regarding SummerSlam, I thought for this being the first 2 night SummerSlam, I thought they did good for the
Yeah,
first
bang
two
up
nights,
job. Yeah.
SummerSlam.
Look,
Not every
yeah.
match was a banger, but it's like of course, like you can't expect every match to just be like, oh, extremely good. And I will say this. I have to say this. That TLC match was crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah, we have to give
That
them a shout
TLC
out.
match was crazy. I didn't know how they would pull it off with it being six teams,
Dude,
but man, they made it work.
just a
It was
car crash. Just
entertaining.
multiple car crashes.
Seeing all the tables break, the Candice LeRae ladder
Oh
spot.
my God.
Props to her for
Oh my
agreeing to
God.
take that bump.
Everyone was like, oh shit.
And then the DIY going through like the six tables. It was madness. It was crazy. I loved it.
Yep.
It was a fun match to watch. I didn't want to take my eyes off of it.
Yep. No, exactly. But yeah, bang up job this weekend for WWE. They made their money like they want, but in the end, you know, fans they gotta have a good product. And that's just ultimately what we want. We want a good product. But
Yes.
all right, guys, we'll end it right there because we have less than a minute. I want to say thank you for everyone that tuned into our live streams. And thank you for tuning into this podcast.
Yep. We have plenty more coming your way. Thank you, couldn't do this without you. And we'll see you next time.
Because you
Oh,
can't
maybe
see
maybe you
us.
can't see me.